I really think that we should have more conversations about breakup. I mean, we always talk about how we want to fall in love, how it makes us so happy, how we can picture it. I'm not saying that you should be picturing a breakup with someone, but I'm just saying that we don't have much of these conversations as we should have. I think we should have conversations about breakups too. We need to understand ourselves, how we are when we are in that breakup, for us to be able to know how we move on and how we process it. And just like a very big earthquake, breakups will also have an aftermath. Well, any big event will always have an aftermath. Whether it's good or not, there would always be something like that. So, in this episode, we are still talking about that breakup that you went through. Whether you're the one who broke up with another person or you were the one getting left behind. So, join me on this week's episode, The Aftermath. My name is Lee, and this is Decapitated Thoughts. How to start? Okay, um, I'm not on any side. I just want to see this from both point of view. Now, if you go online, they have labeled this because our society needs label to be able to understand things. So I just want to see the aftermath from both sides. You get the dumper and the dumpy. But I want that to be correct. So the person who broke up the relationship and the person who was left out. We have to see things from, each side of the fence because each side of the fence would give us an insight on what's going on with them. Now, also, we have labeled certain breakups as clean breakup and bad breakup. So let me know. Send me a message, or if we're friends, or if we're following each other on Instagram. Let me know what you think. What is a clean breakup and what is a bad breakup? Because from where I'm seeing it, there's really no clean or bad breakup. Because we're always missing some point. Clean and bad is just the perspective that we force ourselves to see. And this is just me, okay? No research is backing this up. This is just from an observation. Because we don't know what the other person is going through. For us, it was clean, or for us, it was bad, but we can't say surely for sure with the other person. See, from the first episode of season 3, I said that we really need to have conversations about breakup. We always talk about how we fall in love, how good it is to fall in love. And sure, why would we bother to talk about something that would make us feel bad? Right? Why, Lee? Why do you want to talk about something that would make us feel really bad, that would call out really negative emotions and whatnot? Well, honestly, sometimes a breakup isn't so bad. Again, it depends on the perspective. Breakup is something that can, it's true, that can make or break you. And it all depends on how we take it and how we understand it. In a breakup, what's important is your priorities. Huh? How? In a breakup, usually our priority is to get things back together. We were born, I don't know, problem solvers. We were born to preserve social bonds. It's being human. But a breakup can also lead you to better things. And as of this moment that I'm talking to you, you might be going through something that's hard, or, a really, you can say a really bad breakup. But people would always tell you 5 years, 10 years from now, you would be laughing at that. Because normally that's true. It's the aftermath, it's the feeling that you feel. I keep losing my microphone. It's the feeling that you feel right after somebody had broken up with you. Oh, yeah, I have sound effects now. Um, it's no laughing matter. Breakup. The more that you understand yourself when it comes to breakup, the more that you understand that breakup is not really a bad thing. And the more that you understand that it is something that may happen to, not may, it that there's a really high probability that it will happen, because when you enter a relationship, it always is a 50-50 chance. 50% of it not going through, and 50% of it going on and on forever. May or may not lead to marriage. It doesn't really matter if you keep on choosing each other for the rest of your life. That would be better than marriage, I guess. The more that you understand it, the more it'll be easier. For a very long time, I thought I've been very good at breakups. And I'm not siding on anyone's side, because I've only broken up with someone once. Of all the relationships that I've been with, official and not official, I'm usually the dumpy. And I guess I am okay with that, because I always thought that I would never carry the guilt. And that's just me happening in my head. But it still isn't true, is it? Even if you're the dumpy, if you look at the big pictures, you have your fair share of mistakes and answers. And no answers, that's what I mean. It's hard to talk about breakup because it forces us to look into our own reality. And no matter how much I read about breakups online, honestly, research can only do so much. It has a limit. Sure, we can hook up a person on some machine, show them a picture of their ex, see where the brain lights up when when their ex would be coming up, or the places that they've been through, or the songs that they've heard together. But at the end of the day, these researches are only limited to that. We can observe a person, the physical things that happen to them when they're experiencing a breakup. Sure. But it is in those unspoken words that nobody's willing to share. Those are where the reality is. I can jump into conclusion based on what we came up from the MRI with, or the observations that we've seen physically. But still, there is that missing link. Because after a breakup, nobody wants to look at it. It's hard, and we do a lot of things, quote unquote, to get over someone, quote unquote, to get over this. One of which is closure. And why do we crave for closure? Also, it's a blame game after the breakup. We always say that if somebody breaks up with you, it's harder for you. And this is why I already told you that for most of my relationships, I'm the one who's getting left out, because I don't think that's the case. I don't think I'm the only one who felt bad. It's just the timelines are not the same for the dumper and the dumpee. I don't know. What do you think about it? And also, that's also the reason why I say I don't think there is a clean or a bad breakup, because it all depends on your perspective. All right. Let's take a look at the timeline of the dumpee first. because we are all familiar with this. We are all familiar with how is it to get dumped, how is it to get um to receive the bad news. Yeah, oh, I can see my hair. All right, I'm sorry. We all had that, whether in an official relationship or unofficial relationship. And further down the road, we'll discuss about official and unofficial relationship. I don't know what you think about it, but I think that's really pointless, but we'll we'll take a look at that. Um the reason why we always say that it's harder for the dumpy because it always comes as a surprise. If you're the dumpy, it's something that you probably didn't expect because for the last few months, we've been okay. We did not fight, we did not argue, we slept well, we said I love you before the day is done, and there were no big fights, no nothing. And then one day, she just came to me and said that it's over. So it feels like everything is crashing and acceptance, moving on, everything, it's only going to be processed from that point on. Feelings, what happened, recalls, and whatnot, it's only happening from that point on. And then you see the other person, they look happy, they look okay, they look fine. How are they doing that? Um, is it me? Did I not love the other person enough? How can a person change overnight? And why did you not tell me about the problems that we're having? We could have fixed it. All of these would be coming crashing into a person's brain if they're the dumpy. With whatever kind of relationship you may have, and it doesn't matter whether you're a vocal person or not. I think we all have the same questions when we receive the news. It's just that some of us, or we would just all react differently because we are different persons. And I'm happy that we act differently. Some of us will act violently. Like from then and there, I want answers now. You tell me what's wrong, what's happening. You're not giving me a choice. And some of us would act calmly, keep it to ourselves, take time to process, let me see how this is gonna go. And then the next following day, spiral from there, become very angry, stalk the person, and I don't know, right? Or just be confused at that moment, cry, not understand things, shout a little, and then just let the other person go. You would ask questions, but they're more rhetorical. Let a person go and then start processing it the next day. I don't know what your process are. Could be um, getting the things of the other person, all the gifts that they gave you, give it back. Yeah, some of us would react that way. But all I know is that after the breakup, we will be having sleepless nights as the dumpy. Because these questions will repeat in our heads. We're gonna play that day when the bomb was dropped over and over in our heads. We are going to play scenes in our relationships that we thought might have contributed to the breakup over and over in our heads. And they're not going to stop. Sometimes we will stare blankly in the room because we hear some words. You're not going crazy. Because some of these things will play in your head and people can actually see sometimes what you're really going through. And these things can also manifest physically. Shortness of breath, um, headaches, confusion. Sometimes you feel really, really nervous, even if you're not doing anything. Sometimes you feel like your stomach is in knots, like you have to go to the restroom constantly. It will manifest that way. Now, if everything would be manifesting physically, it's time to see your doctor. No, that's not a normal um, stomach ache. That's not a normal shortness of breath. It can be a developing depression. So you have to go and check in with your doctor when you start feeling these things, because being heartbroken is true. Now, like what I said in season 12, love happens in the brain. Breakup can happen in the brain and in the heart. Literally, you can actually feel your heart breaking. While it isn't a really good feeling, know when these symptoms are happening and know when to really see professional help. Well, the first thing that you have to do is to accept what's happening, be at peace with it, and really acknowledge that you need help this time, because it may be more than the breakup that you're going through. Okay, so the timeline for the dumpy starts on that day when we break up. It could be a little further than that, because for some of us who are very observant, we probably have seen that distance from the other person, but we could have ignored it. Or we did, and we, made a big deal out of it, really big deal out of it, and we fought over it. Or sometimes you had been telling yourself that this is what I want anyway, so I'm just gonna let it play out. Those are just really generic scenarios. It could play out in, that observation may have played out in so many things. So when what you expected would have happened, it would still feel bad. But it's not going to be as bad as when you have no clue at all. So for you, it starts way before the breaking up happens. And that dumpy, and probably this is what we call clean breakup. And that dumpy would have time to process how they feel about the relationship and why this is necessary. And so when that day finally happens, it's the truth is not harder to accept. Or rather, they have faced their reality and they're just tuning in and trying to make sense. They're already on the part wherein they're trying to make sense with everything, and they're trying to embrace whatever is happening. So I think that's when we call it a clean breakup. Now, I don't believe in calling it a clean or a bad breakup, because the thing is, it would still bother you. It would still stress you out, whether you invest or no, not invest, whether you show other people emotions or not. We are so we are so deep in the idea of not showing people how we feel, because it might check out as weakness. People might register it as weakness and it would be against us. I don't understand why we have that notion. Why is being weak wrong? And this is also the reason why a lot of us do not ask for help, because being weak is wrong. Sure, um, we're all animals, and that's part of our animalistic um, side. But for most of us who don't want to acknowledge that we are animals, we sure are showing it that way, that only the strong survives. Well, physically, sure, and mentally, sure, but we are also social creatures. Aren't we supposed to take care of those who are weaker in the pack? We're not horses who would leave our kids who are stunted of growth and who can't reach their mother's breasts. At least that's what I think we are not. Anyway, that's all science. You can take a look at that if I sparked any curiosity. Now, for the dumper, it happens way, way, way before the breakup. I've only broken up with a person or with a boyfriend once. And months leading to that breakup, it wasn't all good. I mean, I tried to be the best girlfriend in those months. We never fought. I was okay even if he doesn't call every day. I tried so hard to keep my interest for the person. And that was just 1%. And I felt so guilty. I can just imagine for those who had been doing this or being unlucky to be the dumper, those months leading to the breakup, the confusion that you have of whether you're making the right decision or not because you've been with this person for a very long time. I know that this person loves me so much. He knows or she knows me inside out. She even knows me better than myself. Why am I doing this? What's wrong with me? What am I looking for? Am I just looking for a little change? Am I just looking for a little um a little spark? If you're falling in love with another person other than the person that you're with, I'm sure there are more questions than answered. But you know what? The dumpy doesn't see that because the only thing the dumpy will know the moment that you drop your bomb is that you're hurting them. When people say that this is also hurting me too, that's actually real. It's just because in the movies, in the songs, in the books that we read, the dumper is such a villain. But in reality, before they make that move, particularly for people who had been in a very long relationship, they also can't explain it. How it happened, when it happened. I mean, falling in love with a person and you know that you're with someone, that might take a long time. And I can't just imagine the inner voices that they hear every time that they get close to the other person. And that need to protect both sides, you know? That they don't want the other person to be villainized, that they just want everything to be dumped on them as well. Yeah, and I could just imagine how much the dumper would have prayed if they pray to any deity at all. I can just imagine how much they would have prayed that the dumpy will be the one breaking up with them. So sometimes big fights happen in hopes of that, just to sort of escape it. And it it isn't. The dumper's timeline when it comes to breakup, it's longer than the dumpy because it happens way, way before that particular day happened. So many scenarios would have probably played out in their brains before they went to the dumpy to tell the dumpy that, you know what, I don't think this is where we want to go. I don't think this is working out for either of us. For sure, they have tons of questions and they have questioned themselves whether they're the villain or not, whether they're saving you from a heartbreak or not. You know, that song from Avenue Q, forgot the title, that line, if a person doesn't love you, it's not a crime. And it's hard, it's hard to take that in because the only thing that I did was to love you, and that's good. And I guess the dumpy just needs some kind of acknowledgement from the dumper that they're still in love with the dumper. And you're hurting me now because I thought you'd always have my back. Well, guess what? These are expectations that we set. These are not unwritten rules. 'Cause most of the time, whatever we say in the breakup, these are things that only played out in our head and we never said it out loud. So, do we really need closure when these things happen? Do I need all my questions answered? Do I need to know why he broke up or she broke up with me? When you go online, researches would tell you, not even online, yeah, researchers would tell you it's good for mental health, it's good for your stability to find closure. But I would say, honestly, that depends on you. These things are your own. These things are for you to decide whether you need a closure or not. I can say that I've observed some friends or some people that I think they never needed closure. But honestly, who am I to say that? It's just my observation. Somebody from the outside. I would never have any access to what they think. And like what I said in the previous episode, it is in not knowing that our brain would fill it in. Yeah, it is in the not knowing. I've always been afraid of what I didn't know. So for all the breakups that I've always been rallying behind a closure. But the truth is, I didn't care about the closure. All I cared was to know whether there's still something with this person and I, whether I can still light up that little glimmer of hope. And lately, I realized that I don't have to. Whether they left me because there's somebody else or they feel like we're not going anywhere, that's up to them. It's on them, not me. Sure, I wanted to go on through with the relationship that I had with them, but that's gonna be temporary while I process the feelings that I have after they left. We know by experience that at some point, that longing will be gone. I learned that letting go doesn't necessarily mean um, giving them a verdict, whether they're guilty or not, or labeling them, or telling myself that I should forget them. Letting go is simply embracing this reality that I am given. And now, what do I do with it? I can stay or I can move on. I can feel these feelings for some other reasons. Like maybe if that would put me in the mood of for writing a song or for writing a poem. Or I could simply live with the fact that I once met this wonderful person who gave me new perspective in life. Sure, you'll miss them, and you miss them more in the aftermath because your normal is now interrupted. You have to face a new normal, as we all want to say, after the pandemic. A part of your daily routine is not going to be there anymore. And sure, it feels like starting from square one. But I also realized that it's not. You're not starting from square one. I play a lot of games. So I would say you were revived at the save point but you retained all your knowledge, you retained all your experiences. It's not purely starting from square one. Sure, it is starting somewhere, but definitely not square one. Because out of that relationship, you are wiser and hopefully you are a better person. They say that if you love someone, you have to let them go. I say if you love someone, you have to let yourself go as well. I think when we think about breakup, it's always the other person. No, it's also your story. And in this case, from this perspective, you're the priority. It's you, not the other person. Sure, it's killing us not to know what they're thinking of, but think about it. It's the same way with them. When they were deciding whether to break up with you or not, they also didn't know how you're gonna react. They probably played it in their heads, but you reacted in a different way, not the one that they've expected. So it's the same thing. And believe it or not, if you shared good memories and good times with this person, you're gonna stay with that person for a very long time. That at some point it might be unfair to the new person that they're with. Oh, but she's dating somebody else right away after the breakup. Honestly, it's that bad. It hurts for anyone who has been left behind. But is it really bad? No. I mean, always remember that that there is another person on the other side of the fence. You're not in a relationship with a relationship. You're in a relationship with another person. Therefore, when it's time to go, go. The good thing about change is that it makes everything temporary, whether it's good or bad. You're not going to stay there forever. And the good thing about night is that dawn is always coming. And that after dawn, it's a new morning. Therefore, hope. All right, stranger. I hope you learned something from that conversation. Um, on our next episode, we'll still be talking about breakups, but this time a more practical approach to it. How do we process it? How do we move on? How do we carry on? How do we let go when it all comes to relationships? All right. If you like this episode, if you think it had helped you, share it with other people, and I'll let my outro do the rest for me. Thank you so much, stranger, for spending your time with me. Stay safe. I hope to see you, or I hope to have a conversation with you on the next episode. Bye. Hey, stranger. This isn't a one-way conversation, so join me and let me know what you think. Send me an email at linotegami@gmail.com. That's linotegami@gmail.com. Let's be updated with each other's lives and follow each other on Instagram. Look for at Lilith Star or LILITHSTR. Let me know if you like our discussions and if you like the show. So please do leave a rating on your favorite streaming for this show. I'd love to hear from you in any way. Stranger, thank you so much for listening. Please keep healthy and see you on the next episode. My name is Lee, and this is Decapitated Thoughts.